100% of Protestant or Catholic majority countries outside of Africa are highly functional democracies. 100%. 6% of Muslim majority countries, and they're not in the highly functional category.
But do they want to be democracies, John? But John, do they actually want to be democracies? I mean, we have a slightly quaint view in places like the UK that we are the exemplar for how a country should operate. When I was in Qatar, for example, for the World Cup, the Football World Cup, I met some of the high-ranking Qataris, including people who were related to the Emir, and they were kind of laughing at the idea that they would look at the UK as a template for how a society should exist, with our knife crime, our drug abuse, our
it's
drunkenness.
easy to say that.
I'm throwing it back at you. They were genuinely bemused. They were genuinely bemused that we would think here that somehow the way our country operates is the exemplar that they should be adopting.
Okay, well, so this is what I would say to that is, first of all, you're right, but that also makes the problem that I'm addressing in some ways or bringing to light even more stark, because it isn't necessarily the case that the denizens of the Islamic world look to progressive Western democracies as the ideal, but that turns out to be a problem if you're importing them en masse, because their fundamental predisposition might not be democratic, and yet they're in a democratic society. So it isn't obvious what to do about that. Okay, the next thing I would say is it's pretty bloody easy for the rich Muslim countries who are absolutely awash in, I would say, undeserved oil money to moralize about the superiority of their culture. I mean, the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia were a little, fringe tribal cult before the West stupidly dumped $1 trillion on them and allowed them to propagandize the entire world. They would have been a backwoods Arab tribe lost in the desert forever if it wasn't for oil money. We're unbelievably naive on that front. Now, look, I do believe that the actions that the UAE and Saudi Arabia and the signatories of the Abraham Accords, the actions that they've undertaken in the last 10 years do indicate to me that there's a pathway forward to rapprochement with moderate Islam if we're smart and careful. But we should heed the warnings of the Saudis and the UAE people themselves and address the problem of psychopathic fundamentalism in our own culture. And instead, what we do is we allow them unlimited license to rape and pillage for racially motivated reasons, and then hide it and pretend that it's okay.
See, I agree with all that.
Problem.
Yeah, I agree.